Hi, welcome to Online Onboarding to the LMS in 2 minutes or less. I'm Julianne Morgan, and I'm an Academic Engagement Lead at the University of Dayton. And today I'm presenting with...
I'm Paul Dagnall, and I work in instructional design and digital media.
And today we're going to be talking about how to onboard incoming faculty to your institution using videos that are 2 minutes or less in duration. The idea here being that 2-minute videos will help the lessons stick better for faculty, and we try to make them as pithy and as engaging as possible. So, Paul, can you get us started?
Okay, so we're going to start this presentation by defining what this pesky problem is. And if you work in a university e-learning office, you're going to know and be familiar with what this problem is. And then how we solve the problem is going to be the training platform and the format of the lessons. We'll talk about why we decided on 2 minutes. Julianne will then take over and do a demonstration and talk about feedback and what the future plans are. So the problem that all e-learning shops seem to have is that many instructors don't come to face-to-face training sessions. They don't take advantage of software features, and they don't evolve their teaching practices. Now some do, I'm just saying that many of them don't. And the result of this is that student experience is suboptimal. And we don't like that. We want students to have the best experience possible. So after some brainstorming, our ideas to respond to the problem is that we wanted something that's really convenient and can be shared with a link, like take away barriers to get into this thing. No login required, and there's an asterisk on that because later on Julianne will show you that if you do log in, you can see you get some extra features, but it's not required. And we want this training to be very quickly digestible. It's not going to be this big bunch of text they have to read or long videos. We want it to be just they get in, they get out, and they know something that they didn't know before. And ideally, you know, if they start doing this and they kind of get the ball rolling, get a little bit of inertia, that this could lead to additional learning. And we just felt something needed to be done. We had to try something different. So the platform that we decided to use is called Koseu. And Koseu is a lightweight learning management system course delivery platform. An example that you could look up on the internet is the Python for Everybody course. And it's open source, and at our university we use a lot of open source learning software. And if you're curious, Koseu, it's just the Korean word for course. Now, you might call yours something different, or you might decide that, you know, we can't use this open source stuff, we have to use a different approach, and that's cool. And so, you know, you could use Google Classroom, and you can put it on your learning management system, whichever one you use. You could set up what we are going to demonstrate here on a variety of different systems, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew what platform we used. All right, so you're probably wondering, all right, so why not just put this on the learning management system? If you're going to teach them to use the learning management system, why not just model how to use it in the teaching itself? And this was discussed at length. And but we wanted to kind of create a separation between like catalog courses and professional development. And so this is more of a professional development, even though it's about the learning management system. And also we wanted to make that ease of access, being able to share links to help people get the ball rolling and lead to other things. We want it to be minimalist. And so when you log into a learning management system, it's got faculty have all their courses, and there's a lot of, you know, extra stuff in there because these systems are very robust, and so we wanted to remove distraction, just allow them just to focus in on the learning that we had for them, and then to also have the opportunity to provide some exploration a little easier. So if you have our training open in one tab, you could bounce over to the learning management system to try out something that you just saw a demonstration or an explanation of how to do in the learning management system, rather than trying to do them both, like learn how to use an LMS and try to experiment with the LMS in the same browser. That could sometimes lead to some confusion. And here's what it looked like. So our trainings are divided into modules and lessons. So here is two examples of modules where I'm brand new, what do I do? And then Isidore 101. Isidore is what we call our learning management system, and it's based on the Sakai open source learning management system. So, you know, you click on one of these and it will reveal what's underneath, which is, you know, a video description of what the module's about, and then a series of lessons to learn each of the topics that we want them to learn. when you get inside of one of those lessons, this is how the lesson is laid out. You have an overview, a video, additional resources, potential questions that come up when an instructor is experimenting with this sort of topic, whether it's a tool or a pedagogy. And then we have automated quizzes for instructors to test their knowledge. We additionally created for some more advanced things the ability for an instructor to submit something that the Office of eLearning would actually evaluate and give them feedback on. So why 2 minutes? Does it seem too short to you? How can we possibly teach somebody something in 2 minutes? Well, Wistia is a video hosting platform that we actually don't use, but we learned that they put out some research that was really telling for us, because with over 500,000 videos and 1.3 billion plays of those videos, they found that the average engagement starts to drop off right after 2 minutes. So, you know, the engagement stays pretty static from the beginning of the video to about that 2 minute point, and then it starts to dip down and descend. And so we're thinking, hey, let's just accomplish everything while the data shows that the viewer is still engaged and not bored with the thing yet. So some other reasons about why 2 minutes is faculty are busy, or just because of other demands, they're just unmotivated to, you know, learn about the learning management system. And so we want to have realistic expectations. You know, we're not paying faculty to watch our videos. You know, let's give them something short and punchy, and because we know they're not, you know, faculty aren't as interested in e-learning as the Office of eLearning is, and we know this. And that, in truth, the critical points, the most essential bits of information, you can get to those in 2 minutes. It might surprise you, but you really can. It's all the extra peripheral stuff that ends up making your video go from 2 minutes to 15. And so in those extra points, if faculty want to explore those, we kind of set up if you remember having those additional information and those questions on the side, you know, if they really want to go deeper, we provide that opportunity. All right, so the style of these 2 minute videos is we want to make them smile, have some positivity, have a little bit of fun, show some energy, add some creativity and a little bit of extra pizzazz into the video. And it's not going to be the same thing every time. One video is going to be very different, and you'll see this when Julianne does her demonstration. And then the next video is kind of a different format. And again, we want to make sure in that 2 minutes that we just target the essentials.
So now it's time to see this in action. I'm going to show you the entirety of the first video we ever created with these principles in mind.
Here are some ineffective ways to make announcements.
All right, class, now don't forget that we have a quiz over Chapter 4 next Thursday, okay?
Hey class, don't forget there's a quiz on Chapter 4 on Thursday.
Let me show you how the announcements tool can do this better. To post an announcement, click on the Add button, give it a title, then write your message. Press Post Announcement.
And just like that.
Your student will get an email, a notification in Isidore, as well as see it on their Isidore homepage and your course homepage.
In addition to not yelling over your students, there are a few other advantages for using the Isidore Announcements tool.
It's a great way to keep a record of your course communications. You can reuse the announcements the next time you're teaching the course, and in case a student ever says that you didn't tell them something, you can show them that you did.
Communicate effectively. Use the Isidore Announcements tool.
This is a video that introduces the announcements tool in our learning management system. Even though the video is only a year old, it still makes me cringe. There are so many lessons we learned since that first video that we'd improve if we were to do this again. But as you probably noted, there's not a lot of detail about using this tool. It's truly just the basics. Within a minute, instructors learn the purpose of this tool, how to use it, and some benefits of using it as opposed to their university-provided email accounts. As Paul mentioned, we wanted to add some diversity of video strategies. The primary reason was to help the viewers stay as interested as possible in boring training, but it also helped us learn new video and acting skills that we might not otherwise have attempted. Here's an example of some acting with effects added in post-production to match the actions to help visualize the components of sites within the LMS.
It's like a giant online container. Whoa! Like this one.
Inside one of these sites are the resources and tools to help you teach and to help your students learn. So for example, if you were teaching Philosophy 101 in the fall, you would of course want to create...
We tried a voiceover approach that corresponded to a walk with pictures that were dropped to help illustrate the points in the voiceover about the rich text editor in the LMS.
And underline like a pro. I'm very certain that you can bold and underline like a pro. But there's more to this text editor than most people see, which is why it's called a rich text editor. It's more feature-rich than plain text editors, and the rich text editor is ubiquitous throughout Isidore. For instance, can you add a spinning hot pink fighter jet? Imagine this is spinning. It's spinning online, I promise. If the hot pink fighter jet isn't relevant to your course for
In this
some reason,
explanation of the LMS's syllabus tool, Paul uses our green screen to walk through a demonstration of how to approach adding syllabi to the LMS. If after watching these videos the viewer did want more information, as Paul mentioned, there are links on the rest of the page with each of these videos that will help them learn more about the tools, some pedagogical considerations, as well as answers to frequently asked questions, trivia, and a quick quiz. The completion of these mini quizzes, and sometimes their short answer responses as well, contribute towards earning a badge. On the badges pages within Learn, viewers can see what badges are available and the requirements to earn the badge. The badges awarded page shows only the earned badges, and these badges are what is known as open badges, meaning that they can be downloaded and transferred to other programs. From the administrator side, we can see how many people have finished each badge as well as who. We can see who completed each badge, although they are blurred out in this picture, because the users just need to be logged in order to complete the interactive elements of the training. And they can log in just by using any Gmail account. But after rolling out the first few modules, we did survey some of our users to determine if this 2-minute or less approach was useful. Unfortunately, the sample size was so small that no real conclusions could be made. We decided to continue adding more content following the same principles and format, and we were able to add the accessibility and Zoom modules prior to COVID-19. After we made it through the hectic pivot to online during the spring, we decided we actually needed to completely change the way that we had been guiding instructors to use the LMS for the past decade. Thus, a new training module was needed because our previous onboarding modules were no longer useful. So for this, preparing for the fall training module, we felt we had to abandon the 2 minutes or less format because we need to show as much detail as possible for our users. We were typically able to keep the videos to under 5 minutes, but not always. We also had to sacrifice the goals of creating entertaining videos that are filmed in a variety of styles, and badges were also not possible to have created in time for these modules to be rolled out. However, this was the right call. During this stressful time, the instructors only needed the most basic information with no other frills. Throughout the summer and fall, we continue to hear from our users that this training module was helpful for them. So that's encouraging and gives me more confidence that this short videos approach tends to work better. But that leads me into the next point of the drawbacks of creating this style of onboarding or training. The first drawback is that it's difficult to create training videos that don't immediately become obsolete. If the LMS changes every year, the demo parts of the videos may need to be reshot, and at that point, you may as well just recreate the whole thing because it's just hard to insert a reshoot of a video and get it exactly right. We did try to make the videos initially as reusable as possible, but sometimes it just can't be done. The second drawback of this approach is that it's a significant amount of upfront time investment to create good videos. We always try to incorporate pedagogy into the button clicking for every video, so it does require thought on how to weave the two together. Video editing and production too can quickly eat up many hours. So the final takeaways for this session are, for training videos, we recommend that the shorter, faster, and punchier you can make a training video, the better. Spend less time on it. And then strive to create videos that can be reused. So you don't get into this position of having to recreate the wheel every semester. Lastly, production value does matter. Don't go overboard, but do try to enlist help from media specialists if possible. We definitely learned a lot of lessons throughout creating all the videos. We've improved our audio quality. We purchased a teleprompter so that it was easier for the actors, the talent, to read a script instead of trying to memorize or ad-lib, which makes the video run a lot more smoothly. We also purchased some extra lighting so that we can just brighten up the videos. So enlisting the help of a media specialist is recommended if you can. So thank you so much for listening, and we wish you the best in creating your own training modules. Please don't hesitate to reach out to either Paul or myself with any questions, and we hope to see your email addresses earning badges on our learn.udayton.edu site sometime soon.